The woke left hates everything red, white, and blue. They see red, they think Trump. And
Hi there, this is Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHAS-11. We are cutting into coverage tonight because we do have a tornado warning, and it is protocol that we hop on air with you to keep you safe with these tornado warnings in place, and we will continue to be on air as this tornado warning is in effect. But you'll notice it's in effect until 8:30 p.m. We've been watching this storm that's now starting to move just past LaGrange into Newcastle, Eminence, and areas off to the east. It has areas of rotation. We were seeing in the mid-levels trying to tighten up enough, and so the National Weather Service did go ahead and issue this tornado warning in place once again until 8:30. Bigger picture view, we do have a wider severe thunderstorm warning to account for those strong winds. Obviously, we have very heavy rainfall that's moving through the areas and frequent lightning, but this little nub that you're seeing that's right around LaGrange, that is the area that we are watching for rotation. And this evening I am joined alongside meteorologist Austin Evans and also meteorologist John Gordon. They'll be hopping in with coverage help as we continue onward this evening. But this is our first tornado warning of the evening, so if you are included in this red polygon that we're seeing right here, you do want to get to your safe place. This warning is in effect until 8:30, and this storm, it's moving toward the east at 40 miles per hour. We do have radar indicated rotation with this. This tornado warning is in effect for southeastern Oldham County, northeastern Shelby County, and Henry County also included in this. This was just issued a few minutes ago at 7:45 and was a storm that we were starting to pay attention to with some radar indicated rotation. Once again, you're seeing that right around LaGrange here. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and John, feel free to hop in at any time.
Yeah, let's talk about the storm in LaGrange. So you see the S that Mallory's talking about. It's right near 71 in LaGrange on Jericho Road. There's a little, we call this a bookend. And if you're on I-71 near LaGrange, moving east towards Newcastle and Eminence, most of it appears to be just off the deck, but you need to be your safe shelter in LaGrange, Newcastle, Eminence, and the other area I want to hit real quick, Mallory, is the area to the west. So if you're in Crawford County, Orange County, Perry County, we're going to see 70-mile-an-hour winds just east of Hardinsburg heading to Borden and Galena, and Mallory will track all this out.
Yeah, so this is a severe thunderstorm warning that you are currently seeing. And as John mentioned, we've also been watching this storm in-house because of the high velocity levels, the very bright greens that we've been seeing, which shows that there is strong winds in the place. There are strong winds in place. You can notice that right here. I mean, just take a look at those bright greens. So this is not with a tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. But as always, it's important that you keep those just as important and strong of a, kind of impact as you do with tornado warnings, because we could be dealing with wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour there. So this is with the severe thunderstorm warning that's also in place until 8 o'clock this evening. We'll be watching that closely, but let's move back over to the tornado warning and the reason that we did hop on air here. So I'm going to zoom back over to the LaGrange area. You're seeing a little bit of those reds and greens trying to be picked up here on the map, and I'm going to go back to radar here. So this is a big picture view.
LaGrange, just east LaGrange, Mallory. Track it out for those heading to Eminence. Eminence, Newcastle, everywhere east of southeast side of LaGrange.
Yes, so this is moving about 40 miles per hour here, due east, more or less.
Yep.
So we can put a tracker on this one, and this kind of gives you an idea. I'm also going to zoom my computer over a little bit so you all can see me. This gives you an idea of the timing for this storm. So you're looking at 7:57 in Smithfield, 8:03 in Eminence, 8:06 in Bellevue, 8:08 in Pleasureville, 8:12 in Bethlehem, 8:15 in Franklinton. And then you also have 8:21 in Lockport. So this storm is moving about 40 miles per hour with this rotation in place.
Yeah, that's Ballardsville Road. So folks, if you're going east towards Eminence, the county seat up there just south of Newcastle, Eminence on Ballardsville Road is starting to show more indications of a possible tornado. It's about 2 miles 2.5 miles south of LaGrange, heading to the east at 40, Mallory said. She'll track it out.
Yeah, so that's your latest tracker that you're seeing right here. So he's talking about this little notch that we're seeing here. We always pay attention to that for any kind of radar indicated rotation, and that is why they went ahead and issued the tornado warning. This was something that we were watching for probably the last 20 minutes or so with the nubs that were showing up on radar. And we do have this tornado warning in place now for the next 36 minutes. So that's as this storm races off to the east around 40 miles per hour.
Right now, very strong wind indications. So if you are south of LaGrange going towards Ballardsville over to Eminence, winds right now look to be 70 to 75 miles an hour. There's rotation just off the deck. Off the surface, but at any moment it could touch down. So please get to your safe shelter if you hear our voices heading towards Eminence right now.
Yes, thank you, John. And just to show kind of, I always like to give you all perspective. Obviously, we're talking about LaGrange. Many of you all in the Louisville Metro know exactly where that is. But the big picture view that we're seeing, we've been tracking a lot of storms across southern Indiana tonight, and we've been seeing an increase in flooding potential as well, because what these storms are doing is they're training. They're moving over the same areas over and over again, packing a punch with up to 3 inches of rainfall in a short period of time. So we are expecting the flooding potential to really increase. And I can even put, a radar indicated rainfall on here. And this shows you, especially off to the north, where we could picked up already 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. So expect more flash flood warnings, potentially flood advisories as well. And this is kind of just showing the polygons, taking the radar noise off and showing what we have. So we have this tornado warning, once again, that we've been watching here, just south of LaGrange, heading toward Newcastle and Eminence. We're tracking that for the next half hour. Bigger picture, you can see included within a severe thunderstorm warning due to strong winds. And we also have been watching, as John mentioned, some severe winds, potentially up to 70 miles per hour or so in southern Indiana as well, continuing to track eastward from there. To the north, what you're seeing there, a flash flood warning in place around Bedford, where we've been seeing some of those training thunderstorms off and on throughout the course of the day today.
Even though there's no tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch, as far as I'm concerned, if you're along and north of 64, you're under watch right now. Tornado threat right now is south and east of LaGrange, heading towards Eminence. The winds continue to show very strong winds heading towards Ballardsville and over to Eminence and Newcastle. Please get to your safe shelter right now. And as Mallory mentioned, if you're near Palmyra, Indiana, right now the winds look almost 70 miles an hour. That's going to be coming across Interstate 64 before you know it. Please be careful. Very heavy rains. There's becoming a stronger flash flood risk as we keep going, Mallory.
Yes. Thank you, John. Good reminders there. And I do want to pop over to meteorologist Austin Evans to just give us a few pointers, of course, this time of year for severe weather safety, and also to let me know if there's been any reports sent in yet. So if you all can take Max 3 or pop over to Austin in the Weather Center, he has more for that.
Yeah, Mallory, so I'm keeping an eye on a National Weather Service chat over here, and nothing major has been reported except for a 60-knot wind from the TDWR in North Harrison County. 1-inch hail reported in east central Orange County from a train spotter. No reports of a tornado there, and they are issuing a downstream warning for Harrison and Floyd counties due to the wind. But since we are discussing a tornado warning now, tornado safety, your safe space is an interior room as far away from exterior walls and windows as you can. You want to put as much material in between you and the outside world as you can. The best place really is a basement if you have that. I know not everyone has a basement, but that's the best spot to go in a severe weather situation, especially a tornado situation. You don't want to be in the kitchen or in the living room where there's windows and glass and doors and whatnot. You want to be in a hallway, an interior closet, an interior bathroom, or the basement. Those are the places you want to go during tornado warning situations. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 9 o'clock, though at this point that particular watch doesn't necessarily matter because we are tracking now tornado warning here in Kentuckiana. So we can pull that back up, and we're looking at, again, the southern Indiana getting most of this rain, portions of northern Kentucky now, and we're going to be looking at a flooding situation as well as we continue throughout the rest of the night. Mallory, you want to take it back over?
All right. Yes. Thank you, Austin. So once again, the reason we are on here is due to the tornado warning. Due to this storm that we're watching the rotation around LaGrange, that's where they went ahead and triggered it, and downstream from it, Newcastle, Eminence as well. You are also included in this tornado warning. Might have gotten an alert. You're popping on if you're just now joining us. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell. I'm joined alongside meteorologist Austin Evans and John Gordon. We're taking care of you tonight. They'll continue to trim down this tornado warning. You can see LaGrange now out of here because the area of rotation that they're watching has been pushed farther to the east. So I'll pull back up radar here and what we've been watching. So if I can put it into motion, as we mentioned, I'm going to make sure the storm is moving still at the same speed. But this warning was issued until 8:30 this evening. So if you're included in the red polygon, that means get in your safe place and stay until the storm does pass. It's moving around 35 miles per hour. Both tornadoes in extensive straight line wind damage located near LaGrange. So calling this due to radar indicated rotation here. Bigger picture view, we also said we were watching a few of these storms out of southern Indiana. And if I put on the velocity, we've really been able to see, just take a look at Palmyra down to Corydon. So they've gone ahead and issued that severe thunderstorm warning downstream. These are very strong winds that the radar is picking up on. So that's going to continue to push off to the east there. And that's why they went ahead and issued the tornado warning already in place.
Yeah, so some good news on the last couple scans. It's very linear, and that means the winds will be going from the west to the east. The rotation, that little notch we had, is diminished some in the last couple, but don't let your guard down if you're in Henry County. Please be straddling between Newcastle and Eminence. The velocities, Mallory, are really strong. Between 65 and 70 miles an hour wind, I would expect between Ballardsville, Newcastle, and Eminence.
Yeah. And that's a good reminder, John. We talk about, a lot of people obviously focus on tornado warnings. They're scary. Tornadoes can cause a lot of damage. But we always like to also point out that when we get these destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, wind gusts of 70 miles per hour can cause tree damage, can cause power outages. If you haven't already started to charge your devices, do so now. Make sure you know where your flashlights are. If you're not under any warnings right now, doesn't mean you won't be throughout the evening. And talking about the storms that we're seeing on radar right now, as I mentioned, flooding has become an increased concern in southern Indiana, where we've seen 2 to 4 inches of rainfall in some spots. These storms are also very noisy. If you're out on the roads, they can cause hydroplaning, a lot of lightning as well. But big picture view, really this is coming in multiple waves, because the line that we were originally concerned about is this one that's trying to form all the way out in St. Louis, where these are more supercellular kind of storms that are trying to congeal eventually and head this direction. So storms this evening will come in a few rounds. We're seeing the activity right now, but then we also have more rain on the way late this evening into the overnight hours as well. I'm going to toss things back over to Austin. Austin?
Yeah, Mallory, we got a couple of reports from the National Weather Service. First, in Floyd's Knobs, power lines down at 5100 BLK Street is how it's written in chat. But also reports of multiple lines down on Voiles Road, which I believe is in the same general vicinity of Floyd's Knobs. And then Oldham County Emergency Management just told the National Weather Service that there is a tree on a residential structure on Browns Brownsboro Alt near Old Coach Road in Crestwood, and that'd be in Oldham County. So we are already starting to see damage out of this. Not necessarily tornado damage. This is straight line winds, and it's strong straight line winds. The only time I've been scared in a severe thunderstorm situation in my adult life was during a strong straight line wind situation. So we're going to continue to monitor chat, and we'll be monitoring these winds all night.
So let's talk about a couple things here.
Yeah.
One thing, that tornado threat, I believe they're going to let that tornado warning go when it expires, Mallory. It's very linear right now. It's straight line. The thing that most concerns me right now is that strong wind heading to Georgetown, Indiana, Galena, Lanesville. I'm telling you, it's going to rock and roll. You're going to see 65 to 70 mile an hour winds in the next 5 minutes. So if Mallory can track that out, that is very concerning.
You're talking about the southern Indiana winds?
Yes.
Yes. So this is what I was talking about. They did a great job at really issuing this these severe thunderstorm warnings super downstream ahead of time. So we keep going back to this. I mean, even if you don't have great radar interpretation, when you see anything that's super bright, that is when you're certainly watching for some strong winds. So Palmyra, New Salisbury, Corydon, these straight, strong line winds heading your direction. And in fact, if I just go ahead and put on the warnings in play, we can see that they went ahead and issued that. As we mentioned, this is going to be moving into Floyd County, including New Albany here. And this is why we have this severe thunderstorm warning in place until 8:30. So these are where the winds currently are, and they're moving off to the east-southeast.
For the tornado warning, strong winds. I think this is a wind threat. Eminence right now. Mallory, they're getting it right now. 60, 70 mile an hour winds. This is moving to the east. They're probably going to extend that tornado warning. They'll go severes, probably for Franklin County, and then points up to Owenston. Very strong winds. But to me, stay in your safe shelter. This does not look like it did 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, which we like to see, those kind of trends. As he mentioned, we were originally watching like a knob. And anytime you see that, that's when something is trying to rotate. And then when it straightens itself out, it becomes a, quote, straight line wind threat. And as we continue onward throughout tonight, the severe weather threat for this evening and tonight has really been, we've been focusing on the wind threat. And that will still be highest. But within some of these storms, you can get just enough rotation as they tap into that wind to be better safe than sorry and issue a tornado warning on it. So that's what the National Weather Service went ahead and did when this was just southeast of LaGrange. Obviously, you're looking outside right now. This is Louisville, and we've had some dark skies and some strong winds. Louisville, you're not included in any warnings right now. You're just seeing some heavy downpours, frequent lightning at times, gusty winds certainly possible. But behind this tornado warning that we mentioned, you know, is turning into more of a wind threat, we are still watching. I mean, just if I zoom off, you can see here, Palmyra, New Salisbury, Corydon, this wind threat that's going to be moving toward New Albany here, Georgetown, into Floyd County here soon with that next warning in place. So that's what you're seeing here. Big picture view. These are the warnings that we have currently in effect. So anytime you're seeing that orange or yellow color, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. And then obviously the reason that we're cutting into coverage is until this tornado warning is allowed to expire or be canceled early, we'll be on with you. So
thing I want to mention, you're not under a flash flood warning in southern Indiana, but as far as I'm concerned, it's getting dark. We have very, very heavy rainfall rates. Anywhere in southern Indiana, whether Du Bois, Orange, Washington, Scott, Clark, Floyd, Harrison, Crawford, or Perry, you should be prepared for some heavy water. It's going to go on for several hours. Several hours we have a flash flood threat there, Mallory.
Yes, definitely.
And in Oldham County, real quick, more reports of trees and utility poles down throughout the county, mainly in the Crestwood Prospect area, according to the National Weather Service chat. Also reported tree on a vehicle on Bradford Road in Greenville, Indiana, unoccupied, confirmed, so that is good. But we are starting to see, we are getting in an influx, almost a constant stream of wind damage reports coming out of the National National Weather Service. So I'm going to continue keeping my eyes glued to that. I have behind me the storm wind speed, and we actually can take the power outages map, I've just been told, if you wanted to pop that up onto the screen. And we got, it looks like 92 customers with the, over 30, almost 3,500 customers without power. This is the LG&E website outage map, and it's all leaning in the eastern edges of the Louisville metro area, Oldham County, and what have you. So a lot of power outages already being confirmed from LG&E due to these straight line winds that have been moving through Oldham County, mainly, again, the Crestwood area, I believe, amongst others. So,
all right, Mallory, let's talk about something that's just cropped up. Just south of the tornado warning, barely, is a notch right now that's developed just south of Eminence. They are watching that. That's rotating a little bit.
Yeah.
That would be, where is that? North of Shelbyville.
North of Shelbyville. I see exactly what you're talking about.
That is an area that really bears concern.
Here.
You see it there?
Yeah. Yep. So if you all can see me on the left side of your screen, this little notch that John's talking about, this is northeast of Shelbyville. Watching that. So anytime you'll hear us talk about this a lot when we do coverage, notches, nubs, whatever you want to call it, is where a storm is trying to kind of wrap up a little bit, tap into some rotation. Sometimes it's just in the mid levels before it goes down to the ground. But we always have to watch those, because if there is already a severe thunderstorm warning in the area, it could be tapping into some of those stronger winds as well, causing that storm to potentially create a tornado. So that's not currently in either of the warnings. Is just south of the current severe thunderstorm warning, but we will be keeping a close eye on that. Good eye on that, John. Thank you.
If I were in Christiansburg, I'd be paying real close attention to that storm right now.
Yeah, that one really bears watching. Once again, I just want to keep saying about flooding. I'm telling you, these are putting down inch per half hour stuff, these heavier bands. So flash flood threatening, it's getting dark. Please, please make good decisions tonight on the road.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service has already issued a flood advisory until 11:15 for a lot of our counties. Clark, Floyd, Jefferson, Scott, Central Kentucky. We're talking about Henry, Oldham, Trimble. And, you know, this is until 11:15. This is for minor flooding, but where we're starting, whenever we start to see maybe more major flooding, that's when we'll start to see flash flood warnings in place. And yes, we need the rain, but not all at once. The ground is very dry. So that's going to also cause some flooding concerns. And as John mentioned, when it gets to be dark outside, that just adds another layer of safety concerns that we'll be watching as well.
Yeah. So let's go through the radar here again. That first warning, I don't think they're going to move it east. It's that area just a hair south that there's these little nubs, see these little mergers, Mallory, that are on the front edge around Shelbyville? They have to watch for spin-ups along that line. They're definitely going to go severe. If you're in Frankfort, capital city, you're going to be under severe before you know it. And that one area continues to bring extremely heavy rain in southern Indiana by Galena. That will be, so in Louisville, that heavy line will be just a hair north of you. Jeffersonville, the Knobs, up to Sellersburg. Mallory can track that one up for you.
So this is what we're talking about right here. And I know sometimes there's almost too much information on the screen for you, but you're obviously seeing the heavy rainfall on the radar, the reds, and then we turn to velocity so you can see winds. And we keep showing this because we've had these bright greens showing strong winds. And we're talking 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts just continuing to roll through here. So that's why these severe thunderstorm warnings are in place for southern Indiana right now, and they'll be moving into Floyd County, or it's already moving into Floyd County. And this warning is probably until, I would guess, 8:30. Let's see. Yes. For Floyd's Knobs, New Albany, Georgetown, Greenville, Starlight as well. So you definitely want to make sure you're inside. You don't want to be outside when these winds are whipping in. And regardless, as John keeps hitting, and it's important that even when we talk about severe weather days like today, we also talk about our flooding potential, because that's going to be a concern throughout this evening into the overnight hours. And you just saw that they shaved off the back end of this because now the strongest winds are moving into Floyd County and continuing off to the east, slightly southeast.
And Mallory, a couple of damage reports coming in out of Clark right now per their emergency management. BLK Haymarket, the 3900 block of Haymarket Drive, that's what BLK stood for earlier, and I went right over my head. In Jeffersonville, we got a tree across the roadway at the 2600 block of Cooper's Lane. In Jeffersonville, we got power lines down, and we are, again, monitoring any sort of rotation, and they are agreeing that flooding is becoming a bigger concern. This is 3-hour estimated rainfall, and we're already over 5 inches in some locations, at least according to our radar. So this is over the last 3 hours. I think we have a way to see the last
Some of it's got a little bit
hour.
of hail in there, but yeah, they're pretty high.
And this is the last hour, and where we have the highest just to the south of Paoli. 3.5 inches in an hour is a lot, assuming that that is accurate to what happened in reality. Again, this is derived from radar, so it's not going to line up completely, but this is a lot of rain falling very quickly, and as we've been discussing, the storms move through, and then they just fill in behind them and continue to do so. I've dealt with this type of situation in the Arklatex. It causes a flooding situation very, very quickly.
All right, let's do the radar really quick. The tornado warning goes till 8:30. I believe they're going to let it go, and they're going to go severe. Their next move, it's halfway through the box. It'll be out of the box here before you know it, Mallory. And they're probably going to go severe in Franklin County, Frankfort. I just got a report from a friend of mine at over in southern Indiana, in Georgetown, said near zero visibility and winds 50 plus.
I don't doubt it, right?
I-64, if you don't need to go on I-64 from Louisville to Georgetown, don't for the next 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned, these are impactful storms, even if you're not included in a warning right now, just because we are seeing heavy rainfall, gusty winds, frequent lightning as well. We came on air due to the tornado warning in place that we're still watching until 8:30. But we're expecting them to allow to cancel and go severe downstream from that. But we've also been watching some very strong straight line winds as well. And wind is really our big concern because this is all activity that's out ahead of what could be another line. It'll be interesting to see how things really react to this activity that we're seeing, because take a look at these storms that are up near St. Louis, Illinois, down to Missouri, and also a few storms are trying to form, it looks like, in western Kentucky, but all that energy has been along and north of 64, and as John mentioned, flash flooding will certainly be a concern as we carry on throughout this evening.
In the chat, one of my old guys, Ryan, he's the science officer, so another nub forming on the leading edge of the line. They're going to go severe eastbound, and the new warning will probably go for Franklin County, and a little further south will go severe, but they're watching those little nubs, Mallory, that are on the leading edge of that whole thing, at the edge of that box. Yeah,
and it's tricky, right? Because a lot of this is straight line wind, but you're looking at each little knob and nub in case there is any kind of rotation within that. So a lot to watch along this leading edge here. We do still have this severe thunderstorm warning as well on the southern edge, including Christiansburg. This is moving into your area right now. And look, they've issued another flood advisory. So I'm expecting those to continue to roll in as well.
Yeah, I would not be issuing flood advisories. I'd be going flash flood warnings. If you're in southern Indiana, I treat them as a flash flood warning. Anywhere 64 northbound. These are very heavy rainfall rates. It's night, and they're really quick rates there, Mallory.
Yeah, so we've gotten some radar indicated reports. I don't have any ground truth reports just yet, but of 2 to 4 plus inches of rainfall already, because we talk about training a lot. I mean, storms are moving over the same area over and over again. And we've been tracking these storms, I mean, since the 4 or 5 o'clock newscast this evening. So southern Indiana is getting a lot of rainfall tonight. Austin, do you have anything new to add over there?
I'm keeping an eye on National Weather Service chat just to see if any more reports coming in. There were some people typing, but they haven't they haven't figured out what they are putting in quite yet. No new reports on that front. We could show power outages And we have a lot of power outages being reported to LG&E at this time. The last check was right at 3,500 customers without power. All of them focused on the eastern edge of the Louisville metro area, where the strongest of the storms so far have been moving through. Again, this has all been straight line wind damage as far as we can tell on radar. It's showing up very, very bright on radar. As you can see, none of this is necessarily rotation, but it's a lot of quick moving particles that the radar is picking up on. So that's where we're getting that wind threat, and they're still typing.
They let the tornado warning go.
Yeah, they're going to let that tornado warning go.
It's gone, and there's 3 main wind surges. The first one is going to be out of our viewing area before you know, northeast, northwest of Frankfort. The second one is coming into the Knobs, Charlestown, down to Jeffersonville, Sellersburg, and then a new third one is heading just east of Marengo. But right now, no more tornado warnings at this time.
All right, so that's good news. What we are going to do here at WHAS 11 is we are going to stay on streaming. So we were going to do continuous streaming already at 8:30. We are going to hop over to our streaming platform there, and we will pop on linear, so on television as needed throughout the evening for additional tornado warnings. But be sure to stream coverage all throughout this evening. We'll be with you for these severe thunderstorm warnings on WHAS 11+. You can stream us there. And as I mentioned, if additional tornado warnings are issued, we will cut in right here on TV. So we can transition back over to streaming now.
Right now here on the WHAS 11 night team on this stormy night, incredible video into us. Take a look at that lightning bolt going off right on your screen, lightning across Kentuckiana. This huge strike captured by this doorbell camera in Jeffersonville about an hour or so ago. The recording sent to us a little while ago by Michelle Stidham. At one point, thousands of lightning strikes every 10 minutes tonight. And now also take a look here, huge trees down like this one on Ash Street in Germantown. The yellow tape is already up around it. This photo taken by Elizabeth Robbins tonight. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And at least 4 drivers got stuck after driving into viaducts in Louisville tonight. They all got out okay, but one was rescued. Hello, everybody. As we bring you our weather impact coverage on the night team, I'm Doug Proffitt. Our weather team has been with you all night long, and Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell and extreme weather specialist John Gordon pick it up with what we need to worry about overnight. Mallory and John, of course, this is not the time we want more severe weather coming in as everybody's getting ready to go to bed.
Right. We never like to see that nighttime threat here. And we've had 2 waves here. So we've had a lot of shower and storm activity this evening with a flooding threat. But what do we have next?
Yeah, we had Act 1. We had all kinds of flooding, but now we have a line of storms, which Mallory's going to track out. It'll be in Du Bois County here within 45 minutes. And we're going to get a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings between about 11:30 and about 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so we still have a few more hours that we're tracking for you. Right now, we do have an active flash flood warning for the Louisville metro area until 12:30. Obviously, we were talking about the water rescues that have been sent into our newsroom, reports of flooded roadways as well. In addition to that, another flash flood warning off to the north from Paoli over to Madison. Big picture view, where you're seeing the oranges and reds, that is the main line that has yet to roll through Kentuckiana. So with that, that's where we're expecting the wind threat and potentially some embedded tornado warnings, where we're seeing any kind of notches and nubs where there's some rotation within that leading line. So we still have this severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 4 a.m. Expect that to be chipped away from northwest to southeast as this line rolls in here. And we are expecting that to move into our northwestern counties here soon. I'd say Louisville metro around 1 a.m. or so, and then off to the southeast by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, gradually decreasing in intensity as it does so. Of course, we will talk much more about the radar and take a look at your Derby week forecast coming up here in a few minutes, Doug.
All right, Mallory, torrential rains tonight. Tornado warnings were issued for Oldham County, and reports came in about a tree down on a house in Crestwood and then a house fire right along the Ohio River during the peak of the thunderstorm. WHAS 11 Night Team's Alex Dieter and photojournalist Levi Hammer are live on Harbor View Court. That's right along the Ohio River in Oldham County. And Alex, you just interviewed the chief within the past hour. Did he confirm the lightning strike?
So, Doug, here on Harbor View Court, he did confirm that they believe that the house fire here in Oldham County and Prospect along the Ohio River was started by a lightning strike. So around 7 o'clock, a call came in for a house fire. The homeowner said that he did see a lightning strike hit his house and flames just went up around his. And other fire crews got here on scene around 7:15 this evening, and the fire chief did say that he saw the house just lit up in flames. And he said by the time they got here, the roof had collapsed onto the second floor, and that second floor then collapsed onto the first floor. Now, thankfully, all the homeowners and family members of the house did get out of the house safely. No firefighters were injured in putting out this fire. And you can see behind me, or you just saw behind me, the last couple of fire trucks now leaving the neighborhood right now. But the fire chief, Chief Sohan, did tell me that a crew will stay overnight just in case another. It's not the only damage that they.
Okay, Alex, so we lost Alex's audio coverage. Cell service, of course, tough in the storm out there in Oldham County. We'll get back to her report a little later in this newscast. We do want to give you the latest power outage numbers. They have been steadily rising since 9 o'clock tonight. In Jefferson County, LG&E reporting right now 4,673 customers out. I looked at the map. It is across every part of our community in Jefferson County, not just one area. Oldham with 739 outages right now. Duke Energy for Southern Indiana reporting large outages across Southern Indiana. Clark at 863. Floyd with 998 customers out. Harrison standing at 657. Each reporting, as you can see, well over 500 customer outages in.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Bridgehaven Mental Health Services. Don't forget, mental health is health.
WHAS 11 Weather Impact Forecast is sponsored by Tom Sondergeld Plumbing and West Shore Home.
Once again, we want to check in with our weather impact team, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell and Extreme Weather Specialist John Gordon. You both are going to take us through the evening hours. We've got sort of a break. At one point, I looked out downtown a little minute ago before we went on the air, and it was barely raining. You said there's a lot more and a lot more lightning behind this.
Yeah, there's a lot more to go, right, John?
Have things changed, haven't they, since then?
Yeah, so we've been watching that first wave of showers and storms that caused some wind damage. Of course, we got reports of trees down, power outages, and flash flooding. That's what that became, a major flooding threat for us. And now we're watching the main line.
Act 2 is coming. We have a large line of storms. Mallory will be tracking that out. It's near Evansville. It'll be in Du Bois County here within 45 minutes, and Louisville about 1:30 with 40 to 60 mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, so we have a big wind threat along that main line, a lot of lightning as well. I mean, the lightning really hasn't died down at all as this continues to surge off to the southeast. So that's going to continue to hang on with a lot of power. It's going to be a noisy storm, and we can take the radar full here. We're also noticing some tornado warnings along the leading edge as well. So you can see here on the satellite and radar, still very busy. So the activity that was over us is slowly pushing off to the east, and now this main line, this is the reason why we have a weather impact alert for this evening and tonight. The main line that the model data has been really latching on to for the last several days. And we kept talking about this being an overnight threat. This is why, this was supposed to be an after 10 p.m. through about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning event. We just had a lot of activity out ahead of it, and we still have many warnings along that leading edge. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m. for all the highlighted counties in yellow, but once that leading edge of the storms rolls through your county, you are in the clear. We're just waiting for it to enter our area. You'll notice tornado watches off to our west. northwest, but we are looking at that wind threat with an isolated tornado threat. And as we mentioned off the top, we've been tracking flash flood warnings. We were talking about it on our continuous stream all evening, where we were dealing with a lot of reports of flooded roadways, submerged cars or stuck cars in flooded roadways in the Louisville metro area. And we still also have that flash flood warning from Paoli over to Madison, Indiana for now. Just off to the northwest, the polygons that are the big blocks of orange or yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings, and then within those, your tornado warnings. But zooming into the actual radar, we're seeing just more scattered activity. This is in between the first batch and the second batch of the main line. Here's that main line. You can see it with all the lightning, the heavy rainfall in the red, and also some very strong winds out along it as well. We've been seeing some isolated red polygons. Those are your tornado warnings embedded in there with any kind of rotation being picked up. But take a look at the 6-hour storm reports. So a lot of tree icons, that is your wind damage, a lot of flood icons in the Louisville metro area, and a few hails here or there with the storms that we had earlier in the afternoon and evening. So as we continue onward through tonight, we're watching that main line that will be cutting in from northwest to southeast. I think this is maybe a half hour or so too slow. Cutting into Louisville around 1 a.m., between 1 and 2 a.m., and then down to our south. Out of here, continuing to weaken as it moves into a more unfavorable environment. Early tomorrow morning, losing its steam as it does so. Much of your Tuesday will be dry. We'll likely see some sunshine, and then we watch for some additional storms that are possible, especially along and south of the parkways tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. We could have some lingering showers early Wednesday for that morning commute. Otherwise, we start to get a quieter weather pattern in here. That includes for Thurby, temperatures starting to cool into the 60s with overnight lows in the 40s. For Oaks Day, we could see a passing shower or so in the really midday afternoon period. Derby looking dry and cool with overnight lows in the low 40s, and then we start to warm things up. And of course, a reminder, on an active day like today, you can stream the radar anytime on the WHAS 11 Plus app.
Before we leave you, this photo just into us from the North Oldham Fire Department. This was our top story tonight. We told you about a lightning strike that hit this home. This is on Harbor View Court in the Cardinal Harbor neighborhood in Oldham County. It's right along the Ohio River. So thankful tonight that the family got out okay, but this home took a direct hit from a lightning strike. And then WHAS 11 Night Team's Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Levi Hammer were on the scene tonight talking to the North Oldham Fire Chief, Jim Sohan.
When we first arrived, homeowner said his house was struck by lightning. He called 911.
North Oldham Fire arrived to this house fire along Harbor View Court along the Ohio River at around 7 Monday night.
But upon our arrival, the fire was already burned through the roof from one side of the house to the other.
Chief Jim Sohan says 46 firefighters responded to the fire that he says appears to be a total loss.
The roof collapsed into the second floor. Part of the second floor has collapsed into the first floor.
While firefighters were putting out the fire, the storm conditions didn't let up.
It rained the entire time, then we got a tornado warning.
Sohan says everyone inside the house got out safely and no firefighters were injured. Across Oldham County and Crestwood, miles away, storm debris can be seen here, like this tree on top of a house on Old Coach Road, and downed power lines on Carriage Hill Drive.
We had water rescues in the city reported because people were driving under viaducts. We had many other reports of homes hit by lightning in southern Indiana, power outages. And it's been a frightening, devastating night for many people tonight.
Yeah, a lot of tree damage as well because we've had strong winds and we still have more on the way. The main line off to our northwest, currently moving close to Bedford, Indiana, will continue its track off to the southeast over the next several hours, likely impacting Louisville sometime during the 1 o'clock hour. And we're talking about strong winds, heavy rainfall, frequent lightning as well. So we have one current severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Lawrence County over to Jackson County. And we're likely going to continue to see that progress down to the southeast. Of course, we'll cut in as needed for any kind of additional tornado warnings tonight.
That's right. Mallory, John, Gordon, the rest of the Weather Impact team here with you throughout the night. Stay safe, everybody, and make sure you stay connected to WHAS 11.
Continue with us on WHAS 11 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free.
You know, Jimmy, you're a lot like the Ayatollahs.
Good evening. This is Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell cutting into coverage because we do have a tornado warning. I will say this likely will not last long because you'll notice it's right on the edge of Jennings County in effect until 12:45. So really just for the next 10 to 12 minutes here. And then beyond that, it will be outside of our Kentuckiana viewing area. But we have been watching the leading edge of the line of thunderstorms that if you were watching our coverage earlier this evening or during the 11 o'clock news, we've been waiting for that line of storms to roll through the area. We did have some rotation around the Columbus area. Then the National Weather Service in Indianapolis went severe thunderstorm warning for most of Jennings County until this moved right into the edge of the county line, moving into, I believe, Ripley County from there. So this is in effect from now until 12:45, and we can put on the radar view here to also give everybody else just an idea of what we've been watching here. So we'll give you a broad overview of what we're seeing here on the radar. Obviously, we've had a lot of heavy rainfall across Kentuckiana this evening and into the early overnight hours. That's why we've been dealing with several flash flood warnings in place. We've had reports of even things like water rescues and water in the road here. And this is that leading edge of storms. So you're seeing that tracking really just from right past, once again, where that warning currently is, from Madison now down through English, right, getting close to the Ohio River. And all of this is pushing down to the south and southeast here, packing a punch with some winds. But those are the main warnings that we're looking at in terms of, we have flash flooding, of course, for the Louisville Metro from Paoli over to Madison. And then there's just this one sliver of a warning that we're watching in Jennings County. I also am joined alongside by meteorologists John Gordon and Austin Evans. And John, were you wanting to say something there?
Yeah, that storm right there is moving to, it'll be out in 5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we're right on the edge there. Mike is on, or John is on, excuse me, Mike 3, but I think he's going to be getting some new batteries. So this is honestly on its way out. The National Weather Service just issued this at 12:28, I believe. So it's literally for this sliver that's on its way out. But we like to chime in anytime there are tornado warnings in our viewing area because you might be getting the alerts if you're in that county, if you're in Jennings County, and you might be wondering what's going on. But there's just been some nubs along these lines that we always have to watch out for in terms of any kind of rotation or any kind of circulation that you might be seeing with those storms. Otherwise, a lot of this sub-severe wind gust along this leading edge, heavy rainfall. That's why we still do have a flash flood warning. And a lot of these flash flood warnings are considered considerable, which is like that next level there. So we are looking at flash flood warnings in the Louisville metro area until now 1:45. And then you're also seeing those warnings in effect. All of this green here from Paoli over to now Carrollton. That does look like that's been expanded until 2:15. And this is because we've been dealing with inches of heavy rainfall at times today. Flash flooding has been ongoing.
Yeah, so that storm is going to be out of eastern Mount Vernon, North Vernon. It will be in Ripley County within the next 1 minute.
Yeah.
That warning will be gone. In fact, I don't see a lot of rotation in this storm. You can stay in your shelter for about another 90 seconds and your threat is over. In fact, the threat for Lawrence, Jennings, and Jackson counties will be done in about the next 5 minutes. Just a little bit of rain for about an hour and then it's gone. And then it's really important what Mallory talked about is all this heavy rain continuing to pound southern Indiana. Flash flooding, turn around, don't drown.
Yes. So this is like a very quick warning here, but as I mentioned, we always like to, it's our protocol that we hop on TV, we cut into coverage anytime there is a tornado warning in our area. The rest of the line of storms is, quote, behaving, but you're still going to likely hear the storm if you're not seeing the flashes of lightning that you're catching from some of our cameras there on the right side of the screen. You have the very heavy rainfall. And then, as I mentioned before, the flash flood warnings that were in effect from the earlier storms that we had this evening. So that was kind of the round one earlier this evening. This is the main line of storms that we're seeing at this time. And we just had that one quick warning that we were watching up in Jennings County that is basically already making its way out. So we'll wait until that's officially cleared from our viewing area before hopping back off here.
Yeah, it's basically out, but yeah. So what's really interesting is the north part of the line is moving very rapidly to the east, southeast at 70. Now, what's going on is very interesting. If you go from basically Corydon down to Santa Claus to Evansville, that is lined up more to the northeast to southwest. That's going to slow. That movement's only 45 to 50. Our southwestern communities are going to be pounded with rain in the next 2 hours. Just pounded in our southwestern communities, Grayson, Meade, Breckenridge, Hancock, Ohio. You're going to get 1 to 2 inches of rain before you know it in the next 2 hours. Yeah, and I know I've had some viewers talk about the fact that those are some areas that haven't gotten any rain today. You know, all these storms have been concentrated along and north of 64 around the Louisville metro into southern Indiana. Don't you worry, this line is heading your direction. So expect some very heavy rainfall overnight. Yep. It is pretty interesting looking at this line of storms as it's moving through. I don't have the actual radar showing up right now on Max HD, but note where the warnings are and where they aren't. We're in the middle of a gap of severe warnings up north of Tennessee, west of Columbus, and then over near Evansville to the east of Paducah. And on a speculatory basis, I wonder if that's because the storms that moved through earlier may have taken some of that instability out of our area, because it's very suspicious that we don't have any warnings other than this one that we're talking about in Kentuckiana proper. So we're still tracking the line, and it is still going to be loud and annoying, but hopefully it won't get too out of hand. Yeah, they're going to let that warning go. In fact, it may be within 10 minutes, and then they can't cancel it anyway. You can't. Right. The software doesn't let you. We've learned that recently. That is a problem. But what's interesting, Louisville is water is receding as we speak. However, Mallory, if the water is about to fill up again with this line coming in. Unfortunately. They're going to get about an inch of rain in the Louisville metro, southern Indiana, Charlestown, Floyd's Knob, Clark County, Floyd County, up to Madison. They've issued a more substantial flash flood warnings all across southern Indiana. Yeah, so I mean, that's really what we've turned our attention to a lot tonight in general. With these storms earlier and now along this leading edge, we had a lot of rain with the first line. We have a lot of rain rolling in with the second line. Just lots of red, lots of lightning. That lightning has been just persistently abundant with this line rolling through here. So prolific even. Yeah, prolific. Yes, that's a good word. So we'll continue to watch that for you. It does look like they can't get rid of the warning. Yeah, they expired it on here, but it's obviously still showing up in my... Yeah, but it's gone. It's gone. So we are going to wrap things up here. There it is. It's gone. Yep. Well, my software is about 2 minutes too slow. But the tornado warning here in Jennings County was allowed to be canceled early, because you can tell this line is now past Jennings County. So that's where they were seeing maybe a bit of rotation. Otherwise, we're dealing with gusty winds, heavy rainfall, lightning, flooding threats. So if you find yourself out tonight and into early tomorrow, please, please, please drive with caution. We always say turn around, don't drown. We are still here tonight until this line makes it all the way through our coverage area. So if for some reason we have to hop back onto a tornado warning, we will. But in the meantime, let's go back to regular programming.
One Secret Service agent.
Hi there, this is Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with an update here. We do have a tornado warning for anybody joining us late tonight. This one was just issued a few minutes ago from the National Weather Service. Includes portions of eastern Grayson County, Hart, Hardin, and LaRue counties here. This is until 1:45. So we've been watching the main leading edge of the main line that we've been waiting on tonight, packing a punch with some damaging winds. Of course, seeing wind gusts 60+ miles per hour with the severe thunderstorm warnings in place. And we've been keeping an eye on any kind of isolated circulation or rotation. And we're seeing that here with this particular storm. So you're looking at this little nub here. The reason why they issued that tornado warning. So anytime we're looking for some circulation, a lot of times we talk about these nubs or notches along a leading edge where you're getting a little bit of surging here and getting some signs of that radar indicated rotation. Because of that, this cell did have, or this segment of this line did have a history of producing tornado warnings upstream. They went with a severe thunderstorm warning for Grayson County, but now that it's beginning to exit the county and is continuing eastward, you'll notice the areas that are included in this tornado warning: Upton, Bonneville, Magnolia as well, until 1:45 Central Time or 2:45 Eastern Time, as we continue to track this particular segment off to the east here. I am joined alongside by meteorologist John Gordon, so you might hear him chime in from time to time as we also take his radar from time to time as well.
Yeah, so the storm right now is east of Litchfield. It's off south of Clarkson, south of the Parkway. On Highway 88 is heading towards I-65. If you hear us on Upton, 81 mile marker, 84 mile marker, Upton, Sonora, and Bonneville, this will be an I-65, and God, what's the movement? Is it 50?
55.
Yeah, maybe even be 60. This will be there before you know, within about 6 minutes. So if you're moving east towards Millersville, I-65, torrential rain and possible tornado and winds, very strong winds.
Yes, so I'm going to put a track on this and move this out of the way so you all can see the timing here. So Millerstown, basically right over you here in the next few minutes. Upton, 2:31 Eastern Time. Bonneville, this is where we're playing with the Central and Eastern time zones here. 1:34 Central Time for Bonneville. Magnolia, 2:40 Eastern, and Jonesville, 1:41. So watching basically that little notch there.
It's going to be out of Grayson County in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so eastern Grayson County will be cleared from this pretty quickly, but then it's going to continue to go downstream, as John mentioned, crossing 65. So you'll notice where I-65 is here within the warning and continuing on that track. So I'll give you kind of a wide view of what we're looking at here. We have had counties that have been cleared from the severe thunderstorm watch that's been in place until 4 a.m., basically until the ending of this line segment. And we've been watching our northern counties clear. I'm sure more of them will be chipped away over time. But what we are most focused on, even if we continue to see lightning in the area of the Louisville Metro or rain from time to time, what you're really paying attention to is obviously this leading edge here. So we have a lot of red. We're continuing to track this off to the southeast. Most of these storms have either been sub-severe or severe with just winds. Some reports of small hail in eastern Jefferson County earlier. Obviously, lightning, flooding still a threat overnight. And now we have this one tornado warning that was just issued within the past few minutes.
So it's going to be out of Grayson in about 4 minutes. And it looks like to me the circulation will stay just a hair south of LaRue County and northern Hart County, basically from Bonneville to the county line just south of Upton, I-65, all those travelers between Upton and Bonneville, that's between the 84 and 78 mile markers, really strong threat of a tornado. It's in the far eastern edge of Grayson County, Millersville, over to Wheeler's Mill, moving off to the east at about 60 miles an hour.
So this is the one tornadic cell that we're looking at, or a segment of this line. And this takes us until 2:45 Eastern Time, 1:45 Central Time. So we'll be cutting into coverage here on air until this tornado warning has cleared the area. Otherwise, you're seeing a bigger outlying severe thunderstorm warning where you can still see high wind gusts. In terms of flash flood warnings, we still do have that in effect for the Louisville area. So even though if you're in Louisville, your severe weather threat has ended for the night, flash flood warning until 3:45. This is due to the inches of rainfall that we had earlier, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall plus in some areas. And then off to the north, Paoli, Salem, Scottsburg, Madison, over to Carrollton as well. You're still under this flash flood warning. These are a few different warnings in place, but you know, for the foreseeable future overnight. So we had a lot of reports earlier with the first wave of showers and thunderstorms of tree damage from the severe storms, from water in the roadway, and now we're just watching this main line. This is the one problem cell or storm that we've been watching. It started off to the west. We were watching it when it was in Ohio County, and it was severe warns, and then went with a severe thunderstorm warning. You can see kind of the evolution of this here. Moved into Grayson County as a severe, and then kind of picked up a little bit more tightening of the rotation as it pushed into the eastern side of the county.
Yeah, so it's now, the tornadic rotation is now out of Grayson County. It is just maybe a mile, the northern mile of Hart County. It's raining very hard, probably getting strong winds there in down Sonora to the county line in LaRue. But right now, the tornadic area, if there was a tornado, it would be on Highway 1140 and Highway 224, just east of Millersville. So for perspective, that's a little bit northwest of Bonneville. And it continues to show that little rotation, that little nub right on the front edge. That's a very strong indication of a tornado forming or on the ground right now on the far northern part of Hart County.
Yeah, so you're seeing that right there. My computer shows that as being Ryder's Mill, if that's an area that you know of there. So if you are in this polygon, especially if you are in northern Hart County, definitely want to be in your safe place. And we're also watching that you know, the bigger polygon, just in case it moves at all. But
and I'm getting a movement of 61 miles an hour.
Yeah, moving and grooving.
Yeah.
These storms have definitely picked up speed.
It will be out of this box in about 9 minutes. So Upton, Sonora, I-65, Bonneville, Magnolia, all these areas in there very need to get to your safe shelter even in the middle of the night while Mallory and I are trying to help save your life.
Yeah. Definitely want to take tornado warning seriously. This is why we mentioned having multiple ways to be woken up in the middle of the night, because this is a long duration event and a late in the night kind of event. As we're continuing to watch this line of storms, it's been primarily severe winds, heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, some noisy storms, some flooding concerns. But all you have to watch for are these few little notches. So this came out of Grayson County, moved out of Grayson County, and is now continuing to roll through Hart and LaRue County here tonight.
Yep. So in the last scan, it's getting closer to 31W. And I-65, that's the area between Sonora, Upton, and Bonneville. Please, please, if you're on the interstate and you're in Sonora, just wait and let it come through. It won't be long. In Bonneville, it's heading your way. Please have us get off at an exit and wait this out if you can.
Yes. So once again, we have one tornado warning for anybody watching us late tonight as we cut into coverage here. This is the one tornado warning that we're watching for about the next 15 minutes, though, as John mentioned, the storm may be out of the polygon before then because it is moving at a pretty quick clip here. But you'll notice, big picture view, besides that, the rest of these storms are sub-severe, not showing rotation, and we're just dealing with the flooding aftermath with those flash flood warnings still in effect for the Louisville Metro, even though that rain is starting to move its way on out of here. The severe storms certainly have. And some lingering flash flood warnings further north from there, from Paoli over to Madison and Carrollton as well.
Yeah, Bonneville is going to be heading towards you on the north side on 31W and 65, moving to the east, southeast at 61 miles an hour. And it's only going to, they just trimmed a little bit if you saw, just cut some of it off. It will be out of this polygon by 2:40. So be out in five minutes less than the warning. It's really moving. Then they got to decide what to do with green. So it's hard to get reports in the middle of the night, but that's an area that I would issue if I was on radar, at least go severe thunderstorm, tornado possible, or tornado warning.
All right, so once again, for anybody just joining us tonight, late tonight, we've been watching this main event. We've been calling this the main event because we had a few rounds of showers and thunderstorms really throughout the day today. We had some activity as early as late morning, early afternoon with a few isolated hailstorms, and then we had a lot of activity, especially in southern Indiana this evening that caused some flooding concerns and also some severe winds. And now this is really the main line that we've been waiting for all night. And while many of us, quote, lucked out with just some gusty winds, heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, we were watching this one particular area because this moved through an area that wasn't impacted by the storms earlier. So this had more energy to tap into, most likely, and was kind of an area that our eyes were on here, and that has moved through Ohio County, now into Grayson County. It's exited Grayson County, and as John mentioned, the warning has been trimmed away, so we still are seeing that nub, though, as that surges out toward Bonneville here, between Bonneville, Upton, I-65 corridor, as John mentioned as well, watching that closely as this trucks along pretty quickly at 55, 60 miles per hour. So it's going to move over you very quickly and move out pretty quickly. Yeah, so it's on the north side of the part of the county, Falling Springs Road, towards 31W. It will be on 65 in about 90 seconds. Crossing just north of Bonneville and south of Upton exit, and that's trucking off to the east. And once you go northeast of there, you got to watch out for Bacon Creek Road over Highway 728 toward Hammondville. There was a tornado there in 2021. So the Weather Service, I'm checking to see in the chat if they're talking about how they're going to, what they're going to do with Greene County. So if you're in Greene County, you may be getting a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning in the northern part of the county. Be prepared for a possible warning here. See what the Weather Service does. Still shows rotation there, Mallory. You can track that thing out. Yeah, so I put a tracker on this if it's moving 60 miles per hour because the warning says 55, but as we've been mentioning, it's moving along pretty quickly. So Bonneville, it's basically on your doorstep, and then High Hickory, 1:36 Central Time, Magnolia, 2:39 Eastern Time, Jonesville, 1:42 Central Time, and Hudgens, 1:46 Central Time if it continues past the polyon there. So still seeing that rotation, that indication there with the little notch that we've been watching for all night. So we're going to continue, obviously, with this tornado warning with you to see how this storm behaves as it continues downstream. And torrential rainfall with this line too, Mallory. Oh, yeah. So basically, if you go from Danville, Harrodsburg, Bardstown, Elizabethtown, Upton, Bonneville, and all along the Western Kentucky Parkway and southward, very torrential heavy rain with this line. This is the end, though, isn't it? Yes, it is. So if you are behind this line, I always like to do this, you are in the clear. Which we like to see. So, you might still have a flash flood warning in place, as we mentioned, for Louisville, just due to all the rain that we had this evening and tonight. But if you are behind this leading edge of this line, your severe weather threat has ended for the night. And they're starting to chip away the severe thunderstorm watch. That's in effect until 4 a.m., just until this line clears. Usually there's a bit of a lag because we have some big counties, like areas like Hardin County, of course, that they'll continue to chip away here. But we're just watching for this line to roll through. As John mentioned, you might be waking up in the middle of the night, turning on the TV to see what's going on. And you might just have heavy rainfall and lightning where you are, because that's what we're seeing for much of the area, really from Washington County over to Nelson County and Bardstown, down to Hodgenville. But just to the south of there, we are seeing this tornado warning in place, just right around Bonneville at this time. So this goes into effect, or this stays in effect, I should say, until 1:45 Central Time, 2:45 Eastern Time here. It almost looks like there's a little blip there on this the correlation coefficient. I don't know if that's legit there, just north of Bonneville. There's that little blip right there. Let me try to stop it. Let me go to it right there. See that right there? If you can pull up John's computer.
ROI right there. Yeah, just north of Bonneville. There could be something right there. I'm not sure if that's legit or not. Maybe too far north. But anyway, yeah, they got to make a decision. My sense is they're going to go, they may go severe to or possible for the next one, Greene County. You're going to be under severe thunderstorm warning in Greene County. And maybe an isolated tornado in there, but they might go tornado warning. We're waiting to see what they're going to do. They've only got a few minutes. This is going to be out of this box before you know it. So, and that would be, for Greene County, that's going to be Greensburg. Greensburg, what's that little town? Summersville in the northern part of the county with the drive-in movie theater. So, moving off to the southeast at 61 miles an hour. I don't think that was legit. I saw that, but it's too far ahead of the line. So it will be, we got this warning till 2:45.
Yes.
And they're going to have to make a decision very soon.
Yeah, 2:45 Eastern Time, 1:45 Central Time. So we're watching this one lone segment of this storm here. The rest of the line, just a lot of heavy rainfall, lightning, as we mentioned. Probably low visibility. We've been seeing that a lot tonight with the combination of wind and rain. A lot of ponding on the roads. Of course, it's so late at night. Hopefully you're at home and not having to get out in this. But obviously earlier when we had a lot of the heavy rainfall through Louisville, we had some traffic issues. Sorry, John.
They're not planning to go downstream with another warning at this time. May consider another downstream severe for that portion of line perpendicular to the, okay, yep. They might go severe.
Okay.
There's not expecting a tornado warning at this time for Greene County when they issue for the next one.
Okay, that's good.
So this warning will expire in 5 minutes or so as it moves off to the east. The rotation is still there, but it's more linear. If I was to pick a spot, it'd be just northeast of Bonneville.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at those little towns. Forgive me. Hammondville, Highway 31E, 936, and 1079, northeast part of Hart County. Just for a few more minutes, it's moving to 60, so I'll be out of this box by about 42, 43. And Greene County, as far as I'm concerned, you're under severe thunderstorm warning right now.
Yes, yeah. So still expecting a strong storm to continue downstream, whether or not we get rotation back in here or not, or if that tightens up or anything. So we've been watching this particular tornado warning that has been cleared and chipped away, obviously, for eastern Grayson counties, continuing to fill this polygon here for about the next 5 minutes or so. And then this storm will be moving into Greene County here soon, likely with a wind and heavy rainfall threat. Regardless, these storms have been loud, they've been noisy, a lot of heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, even some small hail being reported along the line. So they might still be waking you up in the middle of the night. But some good news there in terms of how the National Weather Service is going to go with this storm downstream.
Yeah, let's go through a few places here right now. Hodgenville, Lebanon, Bradfordsville, Campbellsville, all expect 40, 45 mile an hour winds and torrential rain. It's going to be in Greensburg in 20 minutes. Campbellsville in about 20 minutes. Now we go down to our friends in Columbia. It will be in Columbia right about 3:05. Well, they're central, right? 2:05. Did I get that right?
That sounds right. I always get confused, honestly, about where the time zone
is.
It cuts right through the state.
Don't be upset at me. Be at 5 after the hour.
Yeah.
Yep. And that warning has got 3 more minutes, and they have not done anything yet. But if they do anything, they're going to go severe. Is what I'm just checking. They haven't decided. They're going to stay that way. Yep. And the little area of rotation would be 31E. And then what's that road goes eastbound? That's Highway 936 that goes over to the county line of Greene County.
Yep, and there's that warning. So they issued a big one.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
A big one.
Yeah, so a lot of times with these lines, especially when these storms are moving so quickly, the National Weather Service will issue a huge severe thunderstorm warning polygon, which is honestly the best way to go about this. So we just had that issued. As John mentioned, they weren't going to continue with a tornado warning, but they are going to continue with a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:30 Eastern time, 2:30 Central time for this giant block. And at that point, that gets taken out of our viewing area here in Kentucky, Anna. Once that warning does clear, of course.
And we're going to stay, folks, till we get through Adair County. So Mallory and I are getting towards the end of this long journey.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about this threat all week being an overnight, very late threat till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And even though we had all that activity this evening ahead of this main line, the main line, it came through after 10 p.m. and may not clear until after 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning once it's all the way out of here. So just waiting a couple more minutes to get the official all clear on this tornado warning that we hopped on air for.
I-65, very heavy rain, Sonora, Upton, Bonneville, Munfordville, Horse Cave, Cave City, very, very heavy rain, Park City. All that's moving towards Greensburg, Summersville, Campbellsville, folks in Bradfordsville, Lebanon, Raywick, Springfield getting heavy rain right now. This will be moving into our friends in Adair County, Columbia, county seat, a little after 3 Eastern time. I'll leave it at that. And very, very heavy rain as this line continues to move to the east-southeast. That individual tornado cell was moving at 60. Most of the line is moving at about 50 miles an hour. And we have about 1 minute left in this warning. And as far as I can tell, they're not going to reissue. They've got this giant severe, quite large.
Yes.
And that covers a bunch of our Greene County, Taylor, and southern part of Marion County.
And John, I do just want to mention one other thing in terms of the flash flooding that we've been hitting at all evening, all night. National Weather Service went ahead and extended the time for the flash flood warning in our northernmost counties, where we saw anywhere 3 to 5 inches of rainfall today from Paoli over to, I'm not sure if that goes all the way to Carrollton. Those might be 2 different warnings, but until 3:45 this morning. So obviously, hopefully most people are staying at home, but if you're like those of us at a news station, you have to head into work. Please be extra cautious here. Our flash flood warning also for the Louisville metro area is in place until 3:45 as well. So we've just had a lot of rain this evening and tonight. We needed the rain, but not all at once. So obviously we've had some flooding concerns, and now that we're watching the leading edge of this line roll through this particular part of the storm, it was packing a punch off to the west, and we were keeping an eye on it when it was outside of our viewing area, moved into Ohio County, moved into Grayson County, and then showed enough rotation to issue that tornado warning.
Well, it's 45. It's expired.
Yeah. So
it'll be coming off your screen in a moment.
Yeah, it always takes a moment. My screen's a little delayed because, as you can tell, it still thinks it's 2:44. But tornado warning has been expired. Now we just have this giant severe thunderstorm warning. So this is now in place for the next, 45 minutes?
Yeah, and then they're going to probably issue one last one for our viewing area. That'd be Columbia and Adair County. Yeah, so Taylor, Greene, Marion, obviously if you're in this giant polygon, this is now a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 3:30 a.m. Eastern time for some strong winds. In addition to that, obviously we're dealing with torrential rainfall, frequent lightning as well, but they're not obviously planning on issuing another tornado warning downstream. So some good news there. But we're still here. We're still keeping an eye on radar, and we will hop back on if another warning does get issued. In the meantime, noisy storms, gusty winds. We'll likely have more storm reports rolling in with the first light of day tomorrow. I know there's been a lot of tree damage reports and things of the like, and there it is. It just disappeared from There it is.
my
It's
system.
gone.
So we have a severe thunderstorm warning downstream from there, but obviously if in the next hour or so until this line of storms clears out, if we have another tornado warning, we will hop back on coverage. In the meantime, we will take you back to regular programming.
She has no idea. She alleged.
Hi there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here. We were hoping to get through the rest of the line without another tornado warning, but we do just have this one that was just issued for portions of Greene, Taylor, and Adair counties until 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time. So for about the next half hour here, as the leading edge of this final line rolls through our coverage area. So this is the same storm that we were watching, and they decided to go severe for Greene County, and now have just decided to issue this tornado warning in place. So once again, this does include Greensburg. I'm going to look at more information on this because we just got this in and we wanted to hop on air as quickly as possible. It's moving east around 50 miles per hour, or potentially even faster than that, as we've been seeing tonight. Central Greene County, southeastern Taylor County, northeastern Adair County, here in south central Kentucky. So this is right around Greensburg. You'll notice where this is currently issued. A lot of lightning on the backside of that, looking at, these nubs that we've been talking about for any kind of circulation to watch, along with potentially some hail along with that. That's now moving toward the east-southeast, once again at 50 miles per hour. So if you're included in this polygon, as we always say with tornado warnings, make sure you do seek shelter. Make sure you get to the lowest level of your home. If you have a basement, that's the best place to be. If you don't have a basement, just the lowest level, away from windows, interior room, closet, bathroom, and make sure that you do seek shelter until this storm does pass. So we're watching this area right around Greensburg. Looks like. I'm also joined by meteorologist John Gordon. He's been with me all night here watching these storms until they finally clear our viewing area. And so, John, are you seeing anything particularly for this storm?
Yeah,
Nub?
Yeah, that's right on the east side of Greensburg. Yeah. There's a little bit of an indentation or a nub, if you will. It's moving off to the east. What they got moving at 50?
50, yes.
50. So it's going to be in Greene County only for a few minutes, and then it will be in far, far southern Taylor County, south of Campbellsville, and then north of Columbia is this warning. The greatest rotational threat is just on the east side of Greensburg. Winds would correspond, even straight line winds of 60 miles an hour, but there is a little indication of rotation right there on the east side of Greensburg right now. You want to track that out?
Yeah, I will. So if we bring it back to the wall here, you can see this is that little indentation he's talking about. So northeast of Greensburg, anytime you see a nub like that, you'll notice we always talk about that when we have tornado warnings around here, because a lot of times it's a line of storms and then that little area of rotation with the quote nub or notch that we have to pay attention to. So as we mentioned, this is moving east, slightly southeast, around 50,
east-southeast at 50.
Yeah, so I can put a track on this and put it within the polygon so we have an idea of when it will get in your area. So if I draw this out here, then I'll have to move it over. So it's basically right over Black Gnat. It's heading toward Cane Valley, 212 Central. Absher at 216, Christine at 220, and Barnett Springs at 227. So all of those areas should be within the polygon, so you likely receive the tornado warning if you have multiple ways to receive alerts in the middle of the night. For anybody just joining us, you just got woken up by your phone or your weather radio for a tornado warning. This is what we're watching here. So this is currently moving out of Greene County here soon into southern Taylor and Adair.
Yeah, that last scan you can see a little bit more. So the worst rotation is a hair on the northeast side of Greensburg. That would be up near Black Gnat.
Yep.
On Highway 68, that's a pretty popular highway. Been on there many times. Just north of the Green River. Next one be Whitewood. As that moves off to the east-southeast, you see this little area, you want that little nub, that little indentation where the air goes in and rotates around, kind of like letting go of a bathroom tub. Right there, Black Gnat, Highway 68, going to be in Greene County for about another 2 minutes, and then we're moving into southern Taylor County.
Yep.
Which would be south of Campbellsville, all on Green River State Park. Green River State Park, Highway 55, another busy highway between Coburg, Cane Valley, and Hatchin, all in the park. That will be in there in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, so this is starting to move out of Greene County here soon. as John mentioned, into southern Taylor County and then continuing onward into Adair County as well. And once we get this out of Adair County, that is the final county that we have in our viewing area as we're watching this line of storms. You know, we said sometime between 3 and 4 a.m., and that's about what it's going to be. We've been watching. This has been the main event that we've been preparing for the last several days with our weather impact alert in place. And even though we had rounds of storms out ahead of this that led to some tree damage, quite a bit of lightning, flooding concerns, we were watching this particular line for wind and tornado potential. And we've just had a few storms along the line that have had just enough rotation to issue some of these tornado warnings. So this is that final little push that we're seeing here tonight.
Yeah, right to the far, far northeast side of Greene County is the main show, and it's north of Greensburg, between Greensburg and Black Gnat on Highway 68 along the river, just a hair north of the river. It will push off into Taylor County, into the state Hatcher, Green River State Park, beautiful place to go. And then it will slide. I'm just trying to go through my county here. It's going to slide in the southern part of Taylor County, Knifley, Dunbar Hill, Yuma, Neatsville, Absher, as it moves off to the east-southeast. In fact, it is now, the rotation is now on the county line, moving into Taylor County. They'll be letting the Greene County go. Well, they should be letting the Greene County go in a couple minutes. So the real threat now is in Taylor County. South of Campbellsville, which is good news. My best place I can give, Mallory, is the Green River State Park.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure that's a good landmark that a lot of folks know around there. Zooming into some of these towns that are included in the warning, we have Romine, Cane Valley, Absher, Holmes, Dunbar Hill, Ella, Christine, Barnett Springs, Casey Creek. So if what I'm saying, you know, triggers something for you, you are included in the red polygon in the tornado warning that is in effect now for the next 20 minutes or so.
Yep. Main threat of a tornado would be in the Green River State Park. And it won't be in Taylor County long either. Right. Very, very short time. It's really 3 counties, each one a very small amount of time as it moves off to the east, southeast at 50 miles an hour. Green River State Park. I'm just looking at a few places in here that I could mention. South of Campbellsburg, Highway 55 southbound, all along the river. Very rugged terrain. And what else do we have problems with? Very heavy rain. Yes. The good news is it hasn't rained there that much today compared to a lot of other places.
Right, yeah. So we've been watching torrential rainfall. Obviously, it was training over the same areas in southern Indiana earlier this evening into the early overnight. That wave is now down to the south, so Louisville, we're starting to dry out, which we definitely need to do so with our flash flooding still in place. This main edge of this line is continuing to track off to the south and southeast. You can see there's still a lot of lightning.
Yeah.
That is something we've been talking about all night. When this storm system was far off to our west, around St. Louis, Illinois, northwest Indiana, and then has continued to push down to the south, it's always had a lot of lightning with it. And we've had some trouble with that lightning in the Louisville metro area earlier today. I believe it was in Oldham County, where a lightning strike caught a house on fire. So even if a storm is not severe, it can contain a lot of lightning and can cause damage in another way. So these have been very noisy storms, lots of lightning, lots of heavy rainfall, quite a bit of wind, of course, along this leading edge of this final wave of rain, and just enough. This particular part of the line has been causing us some issues.
So here's what has happened. I knew they'd do this. They put out an enormous severe thunderstorm warning for counties not even in our area. That's Casey County and Liberty, Lincoln, and down into Russell County around this area. So Even though the tornado warning continues in Greensburg, I'm telling you, it's moved east of you. You got just a wind threat for about another 5 minutes and some very heavy rain. But the main threat right now is in Taylor County, the far, far southern tip of Taylor County. 2 little areas of rotation. It does not look as strong as it did when they issued this warning. It looks more broad in nature. But if there was to be a tornado, the Green River State Park, and it's only going to be in Taylor County for about another 3.5 minutes, the tornado threat. And then we go into Adair County, the northern part of Adair County. If you want to track some towns in there.
Yeah. Let's take this. So this is the line. We've been talking, it's moving about 50 or so miles per hour.
Yep.
And take it off to the east-southeast. So once again, Holmes pretty much right over you. Here soon, Apshire. And then we have Dunbar Hill at 220, Ella at 222, and Barnett Springs at 226. And by that point, it's starting to move out of the tornado warning polygon and out of our Kentuckiana viewing area at that point.
Yeah, right now, the worst rotation, if there was, it would be in the middle of the Green River Lake State Park, south of Atchison, east of Highway 55, and getting very close to the Adair County line as we speak. It will be out of there before, it won't be in there but a few minutes. And it will be doing this heavy rain. A lot of lightning, as Mallory said. This thing's just, it's a lightning show, isn't it?
Lightning. Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing it on our weather cameras all evening. So lots of lightning still at this hour, believe it or not. With this leading edge all the way down to the south. You know, you think, hey, in the middle of the night, there's not going to be a lot of fuel. You know, the idea was that this line would weaken, but these are areas that have not been touched by storms today. So we were starting to see form more so in like western Kentucky, and then we were watching this around Ohio, Grayson County, and it's continued to be that same little area that's pushing off to the east-southeast that's causing us some problems here. Good
sign. They did trim green out, which is good. The threat is definitely east of there. It's very broad rotation, but if it was anywhere, it would be on Highway 55 in the bottom 2 miles of Taylor County along the snaky Green River in the Green River Lake State Park. And then it will continue in the Green River Basin as it crosses into Adair, just the far northern part, all the towns that Mallory just mentioned, but especially, I would think, north of Columbia, Holmes, Knifley seem to be the greatest threats to me.
Yeah. And obviously, we've been talking about it, this being, you know, the final push here. So as expected, we've been seeing more counties that have been chipped away from the severe thunderstorm watch. My system is always just about a minute or two behind, but there we go. We just got the update. So now, you know, along and north of the parkways cleared because we're seeing this final little push moving through Greene, Taylor, Adair counties, and off to the southeast from there. So
yeah, exactly. It's going to be actually, this warning goes till, when does it go till?
3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central.
Yeah, it'll be out at 3:30, if not 3:25.
Right.
And then we're done.
And then we just have these downstream severes.
Yep. And that's out of our viewing area.
And that's the end of the line, guys.
Yeah, folks, if you're traveling, unfortunately, this morning to Somerset or Monticello, Tompkinsville, going down to Burkesville or Albany, just tremendous heavy rain and wind. And we have this isolated tornado threat, which is definitely weaker than it was 10 minutes ago.
Yes.
It really looks more like a wind threat to me, and very heavy rain and lightning. That would be, I've zoomed in on my own iPad here just to try to get some towns. Adair County is pretty remote. Holmes, Knifley, Casey Creek are the biggest roads, biggest areas. That's 551, Kentucky 551, Kentucky 76, all along the Green River, moving off to the east at about 50 to 55 miles an hour.
Yeah. So Good news is with this line, it has been moving pretty quickly. So we're getting these warnings, but they are moving over you and past you, hopefully very quickly as well. And we're just watching this warning until, as we mentioned, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time. So for about the next 12, 13 minutes.
And Weather Service is mentioning clearing some of the tornado watch and severe thunderstorm watch counties behind the line.
Yes.
That's a good thing, I guess we should say. If you're in Louisville, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
Radcliffe, Elizabethtown, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And Fort Knox, all the towns Mallory wants to mention, we're done.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I mean, if you're north of all this lightning and heavy rainfall, you are in the clear. So Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown, areas off to the north from there, Louisville, southern Indiana, we still do have lingering flash flood warnings.
Yep.
Because those have been issued through 3 o'clock, 3:45.
Yeah, there's a lot of drainage still has to go on.
Yeah. So we had some issues with flooding here in the Louisville metro area earlier tonight. Some of those typical problem spots. I know Breckenridge Lane at 6 Mile popped up under that train overpass that floods all the time. I'm from that area of town. And then also, just seeing ponding and such on the interstates. And then you're looking at our northernmost counties where they extended the time for this flash flood warning because this area picked up 3 to 5 inches of rainfall because we just had storms training over the same spot. So if you're out late tonight, always remember, turn around, don't drown. Allow yourself some extra time, even if it's not actively raining where you are anymore. You still might be dealing with some ponding on the roads and some wet roads in general that might still cause some issues there. So at this point, just watching this remaining warning.
Yeah, the latest on the radar on this guy is that it's in the far, far east-southeast part of Taylor County, and it's part of the rotations. It's on the county line, basically. And it looks like, to me, it's going to affect even further northern Adair than I had even mentioned a few minutes ago. I mean, in Adair, it looks like the only towns would be Knifley, Casey Creek, and Feathersburg. Far, far, far northeastern Adair County, from the river, Knifley, Casey Creek is the main threat, all in there, and it's not going to be in there long. It's already halfway through the polygon. I think 327, the party's over in the county for the warning.
And it should be noted, as we mentioned, areas like Columbia, you were not included in this tornado warning. This is north and northeast of you. So, sometimes sirens go off for entire counties and things like that. Yep. And this storm is off to your.
They have a wind threat in Columbia. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. So Liberty, Columbia, Jamestown, all those places. Yeah, you can see a bit of a surge from the north to the south. 50 to 60 mile an hour winds are possible in there. And the tornado threat looks to be weakening each scan.
Yes.
Don't you agree?
We like to see that. Yeah, it's harder for me to, at first it was pretty obvious to find it. Now it's less obvious for me to find it, so.
There's no good radar. I mean, that's a dirty little secret. We're getting higher up in the beam. But still, the signatures are not as strong as they were for sure.
No. But I will make a point to show all this lightning.
Oh, yeah. Look at this, folks. This is a lightning fest.
There's so much lightning. And I know it might sound silly that I keep talking about the lightning, but, I mean, we just have had so much lightning.
Yep.
Almost 1,000 strikes just in that little pocket that we're seeing there.
Yeah.
So this might be noisy. You might be seeing flashes outside. You might be hearing the torrential rainfall. You might be waking up and turning on the TV if you received alerts. So once again, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here with Meteorologist John Gordon. We hopped on for this one particular part of this line of storms that's just been trying to rotate and then kind of weakens a bit and then tries to rotate again and then starts to straighten out and become less obvious with any kind of rotation. So better safe than sorry here, but we have this one tornado warning that will be expiring within the next 10 minutes here. And they're continuing. You just saw that update in real time. Chip away.
Yeah, it looks like most of the rotation is out of Taylor County. And the fact, there it is. They just cut the box.
Yeah.
They just cut the box, and it's really that far northeastern tip of Adair County, north of Columbia. and it looks waning to me. It looks like a wind threat. So wind threat from Knifley to Casey's Creek, that's Highway 551, and up towards Feathersburg, all basically east of 76. So from Highway 76 east, northeast, that's it. And then all you have left is a big severe thunderstorm warning, folks, and some heavy rain is, you're either up watching with us or you're about to ready to get going to go to work.
Yeah, by the time this rolls out of here, right?
Yeah.
So this is our last little push of this line. We've been waiting for this to clear here. So
yeah, we got 7 minutes on this one. Now we're within the 10 minutes. They can't expire it.
Right, yeah.
It's some internal programming issues at the Weather Service. But anyway, it really looks like a wind threat, folks. I think if in Knife, Casey's Creek, Feathersburg, it's a wind threat. 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. I saw a report a few minutes ago of 56. I think that was back in Hart County.
Okay.
I saw that in the chat. 56 or 57 miles an hour.
Yeah, so I mean, even with this line coming through overnight, even with the amount of cloud cover that we had today, you know, the atmosphere was able to overcome all of that with all the wind energy that we've had in place. So we've had storms pack a punch with wind, a lot of heavy rainfall across the area, a lot of lightning, and we've had several storm reports in from these storms that have since obviously cleared the areas off to the north. But even if I just put on, this is called 12-hour storm reports, we haven't gotten additional ones since it pushed down to the south of Louisville. But there are many wind damage reports, things like tree damage, and also, of course, flooded roadways, as we talked about earlier. So you might be waking up to a bit of tree damage in your area, or we've had a lot of power outages in the area as well. So these storms have certainly been impactful this evening and into the overnight period. In fact, I probably still have, I do have the LG&E map up. 13,688 customers without power. This is LG&E and KE, so it takes into account portions, areas, you know, close to Lexington. But there's still several pockets within the Louisville Metro over to Oldham County that have some outages. And those are some bigger outages off to the east, likely where we had that tornado warning earlier tonight. So
yeah, over there towards east of LaGrange, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's completely out of Taylor County now. They've dropped that. We have a giant severe thunderstorm warning and then a very small tornado warning, which I believe should be a severe thunderstorm warning at this point. They can't remove it, unfortunately. It's in the last 5 minutes of the warning. The tornado threat looks, you can stay in your shelter for 5 minutes, but it really looks, folks, you're going to be okay. And very heavy rain. And, of course, the lightning fest continues as the line. Let's see, where does the line go? Bowling Green, Hilltoppers, Glasgow, Edmonton, and through Columbia right now, on top of Columbia, and up to Stanford, and then now moving off to the east-northeast. And it's interesting, the northern edge of the line is moving pretty good to the southeast. The southern edge is more elongated, which means they're going to get some more heavy rain as that tails off parallel to the flow.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so we are in the 4-minute countdown for this warning. They can't get rid of it, but it needs to go. Consider yourself under a severe thunderstorm warning if you're in far northeastern Adair County right now. So Derby forecast, how's that looking?
It's looking a lot better. Tomorrow we do have the threat for storms again, but it's not looking nearly as, I wonder if we're already on SBC day 1 now for.
Yeah, the new day 1 should be.
Yep. So this is
what
today.
What did they do?
Basically, south of the parkways, there's still a little bit of a slight risk. We'll get another update at.
Yeah, the big threat is Arkansas and Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing, this is the main concern.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of get remnants. We do have another round of potential storms. I can take you through the HRRR for the rest of the day. This is our high resolution rapid refresh model. And obviously the storms are moving out tonight. Much of your Tuesday will be quiet. I know we have 5-0 Tuesday at Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
We'll have decreasing clouds. And then, after 8 o'clock.
It's in the evening, yeah.
There's a little bit of activity that's going to be coming in from the south and southwest. So you'll notice this is pretty much in line with where you saw that slight risk on the map just before. It's a very small window. It's not going to be nearly as late of a night because as about midnight, the storms are like poof. And then we have some lingering showers, I will say, let me back that up. Some lingering showers Wednesday morning, but once that moves through here, we're trending much quieter for the rest of the week, which is good news for some Derby plans. It'll just be...
Yeah, I'm so glad this is not the night of the Oaks or Derby. Dear God.
Right, yeah. So beyond that point, we're looking at much quieter conditions, maybe a passing shower on Oaks, and then your Derby day is looking dry but cool. And of course, my computer is like, hey, you've been working on this for 12 hours, so now it's not popping up. Yeah. But we have 60s.
If you want to go to my screen, you can. It's up
and
there.
40s for lows. I think the radar will zoom back in for just a moment, but here.
Okay, we can do mine.
Yes, thank you.
So here we go. So, all right, folks, we have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes, like for high sticking. All right, 2 minutes. Basically, the line goes from Berea, Richmond, that's down to Stanford and Liberty. South to Campbellsville, you're done. It's over. Just some rain for another hour or so. Now we shift down to Columbia. We go down into Metcalfe County and Edmonton, south of Greensburg. Greensburg, it's over. Munfordville, Bonnieville, Upton, Hodgenville, it's over. Munfordville is fine. In Hart County, we go to Litchfield. There's a few more showers, almost over, along the Western Kentucky Parkway. And then Glasgow and Barron County and Bowling Green, all moving out southeast. A warning, we have this little warning right here. There's no tornado threat. If there was, it's over. Mm-hmm. And they have 1 minute left on the clock, and it will just expire. That's how the system works. It's a wind threat. They have a big severe thunderstorm. What time does that go out till? That goes till 15 minutes, 45 after. Okay. So the wind threat continues for Adair County, and even the parts up in Taylor. Taylor, you're okay. They just haven't cleared it yet. Mm-hmm. Marion, you're okay. It's south of there. Casey County, Russell, Adair County continues to have wind threat, and we are in the last 20 seconds of this warning, Mallory, and the threat, it really is over. Just some heavy rain, folks. If you're traveling on the, the parkway down there, the Cumberland Parkway. Mm-hmm. If you're on the Cumberland, Bowling Green, Glasgow, Monticello, and East, that is not a good drive. Extremely heavy rain. Don't hydroplane, wet lanes, don't hydroplane, and it is now 30 minutes. That warning has been expired.
It has, and it does look like they issued not only a giant chunk of a severe thunderstorm warning, there's also one farther downstream.
That's the Jackson office, yeah.
So that's a different National Weather Service office, yeah. So taking into account this line of storms, once again, it's moving out of Adair County now, and it is moving out of our viewing area. So, after all,
we made it.
We made it. We made it to the end, guys. So no additional tornado warnings have been issued. The leading edge of this main line has now or is actively moving out of our viewing area as we speak. We just have some lingering rain on the backside, some lightning, and also still obviously a few of those flash flood warnings in place. But since we don't have any active tornado warnings, once again, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell joined alongside meteorologist John Gordon. Thanks for joining us this evening. Hopefully everybody stayed safe. Have a good night.